I've got these two remnants pieces of wood from a wood pile outside, and I want to get them connected together. I'm going to use these popsicle sticks, but I don't want them to look like popsicle sticks. And so I'm going to cut the ends off here. And after I do that, I'm going to be gluing them down. I'll be using some Titebond Quick and Thick glue. This is actually my first time using this glue. I just got it. And wow, is it a great product. I mean, yes, it's quick and it is thick. I'm really liking it so far. So I'm going to glue these two pieces together, and then I'm going to do the same for the popsicle sticks. A little bit of hot glue for a quick hold until the Titebond sets. I'm going to be using drop cloth for this project, and I got this off Amazon. It's really great because it acts just like a duck canvas, which can be a little bit pricey. This was a 4 foot by 6 foot piece, and it came in just under $10. And I can get so many projects out of this. It's going to take me well into the season coming up. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave a link in the description if anybody's interested. So it's really easy to just snip a piece of this and then tear. It'll square itself off. It looks like it's a little crooked there in the corner, but it ends up just really taking care of itself. I didn't do any additional trimming. I do like to go along the edges though and just clean up the rough threads depending on the project. If it's a rustic piece, I'll leave those rough threads hanging out, and so it adds to the charm. But for this piece, I really wanted kind of a cleaner look. I'm going to be using the stencil, but only a part of it. I have plans for the bottom part of that canvas, and so I'm just going to use a partial part of this stencil. I do like to tape down my stencils when there's smaller, intricate work, and so I'm just going to use a little bit of painter's tape and I switch from that dauber to a makeup sponge. I always make sure that I use just a little bit of paint, and it's almost like dry brushing but with a sponge, and that way you don't get any bleed through along the edges. Okay, so I'm going in with a second set of stencils. I got these on Amazon, and I'll have a link in the description. I believe there's about a dozen of them in here, and they're all botanicals, a good variety and different, like styles. And so I'll get a lot of great uses out of these. Now, because I want to use a mirror image of this, I made sure that I cleaned it really, really well before I flipped it around to the other side. And so you'll see that spot there on the left. It's a little bit darker. I have a solution for that coming up in just a little bit here. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our board, and I end up staining these because I want them to blend in, and just a really quick application of the Waverly Antiquing Wax. And so I do end up spraying my brush with a little bit of water. It just helps that antiquing wax go on quicker. Okay, so I end up adhering this with a little bit of the Type On and some hot glue around the edges just to stop any of the fraying. And then here's that spot that I was talking about. After the paint is completely dry, I just take the corner of my sanding sponge and make sure not to sand, too far outside the edges. I don't want any of the dust to blur the image. Okay, so on to project number 2. This is just a candlestick. I already went ahead and painted it black. Now I've got this pot lid that I thrifted recently. I'm going to go ahead and paint the knob black. I was going to leave it, but I decided to paint the entire thing black for one cohesive look. Because the style of cloche that I'm going to be making, I wanted to stay in the darker neutral tones, and so I got this, I think I got this mushroom at Dollar General. So I'm painting it with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. I really like this brown right now. It's gorgeous, actually. And so I'm just getting this mushroom painted up in a nice neutral tones. I'm going to paint the base with some antique white mixed with the paint I already had. And I'm just kind of going for it. It ends up actually matching the drop cloth pretty well. And so I'm sticking with all these neutral tones. Okay, so here's another piece that I thrifted. I don't know what this is. I don't bake that much. I guess it's some kind of a tart tin or pie tin. I am painting this black just to stick with the same color theme here. And so let's get this all painted up really quick. I got this trash bin here from the Dollar Tree. We've all seen these. I'm just going to go ahead and make some little dents here for some character. Okay, so here's where I decided that I wanted to paint this lid. And so I'm just giving it, a quick coat of some black acrylic paint. And I do end up adding some baking soda to this paint. I wanted a little bit of grit and texture. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but my ring light is out. The electricity went off. I'm out here in the desert and sometimes they do repairs. And so I'm just making do with what I have. I'm taking my sanding block just to add a little bit of age here and rough it up. So let's get this assembled. Here is the tray, a little bit of moss, the mushroom that I painted, and a small wood bird. Now let's add the cloche and the lid. Okay, so on to project number 3. This is just a quick, easy way to add to your decor. I'm going to be using that drop cloth again. I'm going to go ahead and make a tag from an image that I got from the computer just to add just a little bit more interest to this piece. I'm using a glue stick and some chipboard for some extra stability for this tag. I'm using some of the Tim Holtz Distressing Ink in brown. And I decided that I wanted a little bit more, and so I ended up taking some black ink to add to this. I love these old Victorian images. I could use them in every project, but yeah, they're really neat. So much fun to distress. So I'm going to take the tag we just made and tuck it down in there, and then I take just a simple little greenery and add to that. I really hope you guys enjoyed these 3 projects, and I really appreciate your time. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!